There was a time when this sound was heartbeat of business world. Before iPhones, before Androids, there was a phone that ruled them all, BlackBerry. A device so addictive they once called it crackberry. But how did a company that commanded 50% of the smartphone market disappear into oblivion? A tale of innovation, arrogance, and missed opportunities. Hey friends, this is Deepak and you are watching Knowsense by DJ. Without wasting any time, let's dive into our story. Our story begins in 1984 when two friends, two tech geniuses, Mike Lazardis and Doug Friggin, begins a company called Research in Motion. It started as a small tech firm working on wireless data transmission. Their big breakthrough? A two-way pager system developed in late 90s that would soon evolve into a BlackBerry phone. The early days of BlackBerry journey was chaotic but exciting. The company operated like a scrappy startup where engineers would work long hours in cluttered rooms, hacking together prototypes with duct tape and spare parts. Their energy was unmatched. Mike Lazardis was the visionary, a tech genius obsessed with perfecting the technology. His friend and co-founder Doug Friggin brought fun-loving energy to the team. They had this spectacular idea of a cell phone, one device that would have pager, email system, messaging system. In short, it had internet. They had all the technical expertise and their team had the best engineers of Canada, the country where Research in Motion was founded. But they lacked negotiation and presentation skills. And then enters Jim Balsillie, who worked at Sutherland. He was the man Mike Lazardis had pitched his idea to.
So, okay, picture a pager, a cell phone, and an email machine all in one thing.
Jim Balsillie, a sharp, no-nonsense businessman, joined the company as co-CEO and changed everything.
Actually, no, this is Jim Balsillie. I'm CEO here now.
Co-CEO.
He didn't just make deals, he forced them. Jim Balsillie threatened to move away from Verizon unless they accept BlackBerry's pricing. And this was the deal that catapulted BlackBerry into mainstream. But Balsillie's aggressive leadership also created the rift in the company, setting the stage for internal power struggles. Comes 1999, Research in Motion launched BlackBerry 850. BlackBerry 850 had full QWERTY keyboard. It wasn't just a phone, it was an email powerhouse. This was an era when businesses ran on emails. And BlackBerry gave the professionals an instant communication system that fit into their palm. BlackBerry quickly became the status symbol, synonymous with success and richness. By the early 2000s, BlackBerry became the gold standard of business communication. Presidents used it, CEOs relied on it, even celebrities flaunted it. Then US President Barack Obama famously refused to give up his BlackBerry upon becoming the president.
Instead of an operation humming with the latest technology, I had to fight really hard just to keep my BlackBerry.
And users were just obsessed. And the device was so addictive that it was nicknamed Crackberry. But behind the scene, the company was a ticking time bomb. As BlackBerry grew, so did internal conflicts. Both CEOs, Jim Balsillie and Mike Lazardis, had wildly different leadership styles.
We are not allowed to sell more phones. Mike.
No, you don't worry about what's allowed. I say what's allowed.
Balsillie was all about aggressive expansion, while Lazardis focused on engineering perfection. The tensions created a company too slow to innovate and too arrogant to change. By 2008, BlackBerry controlled almost 50% of the US smartphone market and was valued at massive $80 billion. But while they were celebrating, the ground beneath them was shifting. In 2007, everything changed.
An iPod, a phone, and an internet communicator. An iPod, a phone. Are you getting it? These are not three separate devices. This is one device. And we are calling it iPhone. But what we're going to do is get rid of all these buttons and just make a giant screen. A giant screen.
Steve Jobs of Apple took the stage and launched iPhone. iPhone was revolutionary. It didn't have keyboard, the first of its kind. It just had a giant screen, it had a web browser, an app store. Back at BlackBerry's headquarters, the executives were watching the launch and they laughed. Who would want a phone without a keyboard? People loved that BlackBerry keyboard sound, the exciting clicks. Their mindset? BlackBerry was for professionals, while iPhone is just a toy. It will fail big time.
You guys see Apple's thing? Any reaction to that?
Plenty, yeah. It's an over-design trying to do too much toy that will crash any network gullible enough to take it on.
Yeah, the iPhone, they put a keyboard right on the screen.
And it's the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Ask anyone what they love most about their BlackBerry and you will get the same answer every single time. The keyboard, the click.
This was going on after iPhone launched in the BlackBerry headquarters. At the same time, another crisis rocked BlackBerry. The Security and Exchange Commission of Canada encountered accounting errors related to stock options that were backdated and offered to the engineers at Research in Motion. As a settlement, Jim Balsillie had to resign from his position of co-CEO. As Apple and Google revolutionized the smartphone industry with touchscreen phones and apps, BlackBerry refused to adapt to the changing landscapes. They still stuck at their BlackBerry keyboard phones and ignored the importance of app ecosystem. While Apple and Google embraced the third-party developers, BlackBerry remained closed to the app marketplace.
It's going to be third-party developers. Anyone.
And users, they started leaving fast. By 2011, BlackBerry was bleeding the market share. They were so desperate to compete with Apple that they launched BlackBerry Playbook that didn't even have an email at launch. A BlackBerry device without email, it flopped. Their once loyal consumer base was shifting fastly to Android and Apple. In 2013, they made one last stand, BlackBerry 10, a completely revamped operating system, but it was too little and too late. The app developers had moved on, the users had moved on. BlackBerry was no longer relevant. Stock prices plummeted. By 2016, their smartphone market share was just 0.1%, from whopping 50% to 0.1%. In 2016, BlackBerry admitted its defeat. They declared that they will no longer produce smartphones. They shifted to cybersecurity and software space. The once dominant king of smartphones had fallen. Today, the brand BlackBerry still exists, licensed to other manufacturers. The story is a cautionary tale in tech history. They had everything, but they refused to evolve. So what do we learn from BlackBerry's spectacular rise and fall? Never get too comfortable. Never underestimate the competition. And in technology, if you don't evolve, you die. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe for more such fascinating stories. Thank you for watching.